Hey, if you're thinking about buying a home in Vero Beach, Florida, and you want to know what it's going to cost you, then this video is for you. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome to our channel, Living in Vero Beach. I'm Zach, and this is my lovely wife and partner, Tonya. We run a local real estate team here in Vero Beach and Sebastian, Florida. Thanks for tuning in. And if this is your first time visiting our channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button and then hit the little bell so you can be notified when we post new videos every Thursday.
We talk about everything there is to know about Vero Beach, Sebastian, and the surrounding areas. We get a lot of calls and emails from people wanting to know more about what it's like in our area, and we love it. So reach out to us anytime and we'll personally answer all of your questions. Our contact information is going to be below in the comments.
So this is a popular subject on social media, and it's the most common question that I get when people from out of the area call us. What does it cost to live in Vero Beach, Florida?
Yeah, and I totally get it. I completely understand. You've got to know what to expect. So we've come up with our list of our 4 costs that you should be aware of when buying a home.
Yep, and we've got a surprise for you after those 4, so stay tuned if you really want to know the numbers. So let's get to it.
Number 1.
Price of homes. It's no surprise, home values have increased a lot over the past few years all over the country, especially here in Florida. The cities like Tampa and Orlando, they've exploded with growth. I mean, Florida is the fastest growing state by population in America. It's crazy. Here in Vero Beach and the rest of Indian River County, it's no different.
Yeah, I mean, people have found out about our county and they want to be here. The agents on our team, they're working overtime to find and secure homes for these buyers. Basically, they've got to go out and find homes that are not on the market, not on the internet. I mean, homes that the average buyer don't know about.
That's right.
If you want the home, we're going to find it. Our agents are getting it done, but there's a lot of competition out there.
Yeah, so if you're familiar with the concept of supply and demand, you know that when supply is low, demand is high, prices go up.
Yep, and that's just what they've been doing over here for the last few years. We hear a lot of talk about the potential bubble burst, but I don't know, Zach. What do you think?
Well, if you ask me, I don't see a major downturn in the future. I mean, we're still millions of homes in deficit, basically not enough homes built to support the amount of people who want and need them. So you couple that with the growing popularity in remote work, meaning the ability to work from home.
Yeah.
People want to get out of the dirty, cold, high-taxed, congested areas and move here to paradise.
I would. All right. So what are the prices here in Vero Beach and Sebastian, surrounding areas? What are they doing?
If you look at the graph, it should be on your screen here. The average price of a home today is $480,000, and that's up from the previous year, 2020, $386,000.
So just 2 years ago, 2019, the average sale price in Indian River County was $342,000. That's a $140,000 difference in the average sale price over the last 2 years.
Now, what is that, like a 41% increase?
I guess. Sounds right, but don't freak out. You can still buy a nice house for $350,000, maybe even one with the pool. But the competition is fierce, so you're going to have to bring your A game. Be prepared, and you need an agent who can do it for you.
Yep, and
that's what we do.
Number 2, HOA costs. Now, there's more than just the price of the home, especially if you're buying in a deed-restricted community. Now, you're going to have to pay a monthly or maybe a quarterly fee to live in a community. That's a given, and some communities have really low fees, like $50 a month, and others can be $500 or more per month. Now, in some communities, there's this extra cost called a capital contribution.
Yes, that's kind of like an entrance fee.
Yep, it could range from around $100 to well over $1,000, depending on the community. Now, this fee is paid up front and at closing. So we're looking at that like an acquisition cost.
That's right. Yeah, it's something for like a membership fee or community fees. They can be tiered. Some are for like social memberships, golf memberships, and so on.
Yep.
In some cases, you buy the membership separately from the home, and sometimes it can be sold with the homeowner who's selling the home.
Yep.
So
you can sell it to somebody else in the community too. So the monthly fees are prorated too. So that will be an upfront cost to be aware of.
So that's for an HOA, which is a homeowners association community.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, you're not going to have these costs if you are in a non-HOA neighborhood, single family like we are.
You can still get assessed though. Like, if you don't live in an HOA, you can still get an assessment. So like maybe they put new pipes in or they pave the road.
Sure, yeah.
So the governing body or the HOA, they're going to assess each home that's affected positively by that change.
Right.
And you're going to be on the hook.
Yeah, it spreads out the cost for the new buyer. So it's important to get any assessment disclosures during your due diligence period if you're under contract, or even before you go under contract.
Yeah.
Number 3, closing cost. Now this is where paying cash can really save you a lot of money because most of your closing costs are going to be associated with a loan.
Yeah, if you're paying cash, you're only going to be paying tax prorations, maybe.
You might be getting a credit depending on when you buy the home and whether or not the seller has paid their tax bill. If you're buying in an HOA, you'll have the fees we talked about earlier and then the recording fees.
Yeah, and like those are like $30. I mean, you'll probably have a brokerage fee or closing coordinator fee too. Those could range from $300 to over $1,000, and we're also seeing now where buyers are actually paying a portion of their agent's commission.
Yep. If you're getting a loan, you're going to have additional fees on top of those, and you'll be paying tax on the doc stamps, and you'll be paying intangible tax on the mortgage.
Yeah, both combined to just over 0.5% of the mortgage amount. So on a $300,000 mortgage, expect to pay about $1,650.
You'll have to pay the lender's fees and any points on the loan. And if that wasn't enough, you're going to prepaid insurance too.
Yeah. Now the good thing about getting a loan is that the interest is deductible, and you can keep your cash reserves at the ready because maybe you might want to buy a motorcycle or a boat.
Check.
How about an investment property?
Okay, that's a better idea.
Okay. All right, different view here. Number 4, interest rates and how they affect your buying power. Now, we weren't going to add this, but it's important to pay attention to. You know, we all know by now that there's going to be incremental interest rate increases this year. So real quickly, I wanted to show you what that could mean to your bottom line and how it's going to affect you over time.
Yeah, and although some would say the price of homes would correct to counter the rate increases, we're not going to say that. Demand is just too high. Check out the graph to show you a little bit more.
So we're looking at a value increase of 6%, which is much less than it is now. It's a modest increase year over year and only 1/3% rate increase. See what the monthly payment increases to?
$185 more and over $66,000 more over the life of the loan.
Yeah, so basically if you wait, you're going to pay a lot more for the home and for the loan. Now here's another graph to show you the difference of what you'll pay on a loan with just the interest rate increase, not the home value increase.
So on a $400,000 loan with a 0.25% increase, you're paying almost $50 more a month. That really adds up.
All right, so that's our list of what it costs to buy a home here in Vero Beach, Florida. There are a lot of variables, but you now have an idea of what to expect to pay to buy a home.
But what about taxes and insurance and the other costs,
That's
Zach?
a good question, Tonya. Those are costs to keep a home. And this leads us to our bonus content. You know, someone told me once, anybody can buy a home, but not everybody can maintain one.
Yeah, I think I've heard that before too.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the other costs of owning a home here in Vero Beach.
All right, let's do it.
Number 1 is maintenance. This is Florida. There is sun, wind, salt water, and all these elements can really take a toll on your home if you don't keep up with it. Roofs take a beating, paint only lasts so long, air conditioners, gutters, fences, yards, they all need to be maintained.
Yeah, nature just wants to take over, and there's 2 ways to keep it at bay, either with your time and your back, or you're gonna pay someone to do it. Now, if you're a busy person, if you have a lot going on like us, paying someone is definitely the way to go. But what should you expect to pay for the basics?
Well, let's just take a standard 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom pool home on a 1/4 acre lot, for example.
All right.
This is going to be monthly.
All right, so that'd be like $90, $100 for the lawn care, $80 to $100 for the pool. You set aside $80 a month for the new roof, 20 years. $60 a month for a new AC in 15 years.
Yep. Then you've got to paint every 5 to 10 years.
Yep.
That's another $80 a month. Got to pump the septic tank every couple years. That's $250 a pump. So that's like $10 a month.
Yep. Maintenance can really add up.
Yeah. Got to plan for it.
Number 2 of cost of owning a home here in Vero Beach, the taxes. We get this question a lot more than any other question when somebody's asking about the cost of living here. You know, what are the taxes? I love this subject.
That sounds kind of weird, but I mean, I guess I do too, because we have it pretty good here in Florida.
Yeah.
Taxes are relatively low compared to other states. I mean, New Jersey, I'm sorry, I feel bad for you guys.
Yeah, California, what?
You guys are getting killed. Florida has this tax thing down pretty good. So when you buy a home, it's going to get reassessed. This is called your assessed value. It's usually less than actual market value. You're not going to pay the market value, you're paying the assessed value. That's maybe 70 to 80% of the market value.
Yeah, that's called ad valorem, Latin for at value. Valorem.
Yeah, so if you're the new homeowner here in Florida,
I mean, here's where it gets good. If you've owned a home here in Florida for a while and you've benefited from the market increase, your taxes aren't going to increase at the same rate. Like, you'll benefit from this thing called the Save Our Homes program, and your tax bill is going to be capped at a 3% increase per year.
So like if you saw a 30% increase in the value of your home last year, your taxes will only increase by 3%.
That's it.
And by the way, when you move, you get to take that savings with you. That's called portability.
Yeah, also your primary residence can qualify for a homestead exemption up to $50,000 off that assessed value. But if you're just wondering what a rough number would be for a home assessed at $300,000, well, expect to pay around $5,000 a year. That's a rough number, an estimate.
Yeah, it depends on where the home is located and what exemptions you can take. Like if you're a 100% disabled vet, we thank you, and you pay no taxes.
You're not gonna pay anything. All right, number 3, insurance. So if you pay cash for your home, you don't have to insure your home, but I don't recommend that.
Yes, and the insurance rates can really vary, like a lot. An older roof, older windows, if your home's made of wood versus concrete.
Yeah, if you're in a flood zone. Lots of factors here. So let's keep it simple. Let's use that same 3-2 pool home from before, concrete block.
Okay.
And this is just an estimate, thinking $1,500 a year.
I think it's doable, but that can really vary. The best thing to do is just reach out to us, and we're going to put you in touch with our trusted insurance companies.
Yep.
Number 4, storage. What? Why are we including that in the cost of owning a home? Oh, because we need it. I mean, you need it. Admit it.
I mean, we don't have basements here.
Yeah.
I mean, remember that George Carlin skit about carrying your stuff around?
No.
That is, that's the whole meaning of life, isn't it? Trying to find a place for your stuff.
Hilarious. So what's the cost of a typical storage unit for that stuff?
$200 a month?
So there it is. Add another $200 to the cost of storing your stuff. That is, unless you can live like a minimalist. All right, so our last cost of owning a home is
Utilities.
funny, because we were just talking about this today. Our last bill was $293 in December.
Yeah, and it should not be that high. You don't leave the pool heater on when you're not swimming in it.
All right, I've learned my lesson. I promise it won't happen again.
I'm really kind of mad about that. So this is also going to be subject to your usage and the exposure your home has to the sun, and of course, if you even have a pool heater.
Yeah, and we do. Our home is about 2,400 square feet, and our bill is about $250 a month on average. But we know some people that are only spending about $150 a month, and others whose bill is like $450 a month.
Yikes! If you have solar panels, that could really save you a lot of money out there. We had a client who was only spending $20 a month, and he had solar panels.
Yeah, so using that same house, we've been using the 3-2 concrete block. Expect to pay about $200 a month.
Unless you get it done.
And remember, these numbers we've been throwing out at you are all estimates. I mean, but they're probably pretty darn close. There's that train.
So as you can see, owning a home is not cheap here in Vero Beach, but relatively speaking, it's not that bad compared to some numbers we've seen in other places.
Yeah, the tax benefits here in Florida are really the major difference. And the fact that we don't really have to heat our homes. So you're not paying to
Just our
heat.
pools.
Yeah, you're not paying. So you're not paying to heat or cool your home at the same time or the same year, but you're definitely going to want to cool your home here.
Yeah, it gets hot.
Yeah, so you just go to the beach instead.
If you're looking for a home here and you want to know more about the process, we'd love to help you. Just give us a call at the number you see below, or send us an email, and we'll personally answer.
Yeah, thanks again for watching. And by the way, one of our next videos is going to be about the pros and cons and we're dealing with one of the cons right now. So
There's these little gnats.
yeah, little gnats. Anyway, we'll see you soon. Bye.